Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Today is the day President Donald Trump's impeachment trial set to begin in just 5 hours. And late last night, Senator Mitch McConnell laid out the rules, why some Democrats are up in arms about them this morning.
And your chance to weigh in. We want to know what you think of the process so far. We'll be checking results and sharing your comments throughout the morning.
And the former elementary school principal accused of murder back in court. This time, our cameras are too. Details on what's expected to happen today. This is Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. A big day today and a lot to get to. We have team coverage of the impending impeachment trial.
We'll get to that in just a bit, but first we're taking a look at your forecast. Waking up this morning to some wet cement out there. The car was wet this morning when I was getting in. Kind of, I guess, some rain or mist. I don't know what you want to call it, Alyssa. It just moved on through, though.
Yeah, well, it was sprinkling last night, and then it actually turned to rain late last night. So we did see some rain throughout the overnight, but now we're actually watching as our skies are clearing. So we're even seeing those clouds advance to the east and kind of move on out of here. Let's take a look here at the latest loop, and you can see that from the past 6 hours after midnight, we started to see things really move quickly over into Nevada. So it's over with. We're not going to see anything else. In fact, we're even watching as those skies are clearing out. The next thing on the list here will be the winds. And as we head into today, this afternoon, we have a wind advisory for the Kern Mountains and Deserts. Winds out of the west, 20 to 30, gusting to 55 as yet another system tries to roll on in. Looking at 43 degrees in Lake Isabella currently, 39 into Tehachapi, 37 in Frazier Park, 51 in Bakersfield. We'll talk about your forecast for the rest of today coming up in your complete pinpoint weather. Now a look at traffic this morning with Alex.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. All right, let's take you outside for the first time this morning. Here's a look at the 99 near 7th Standard. And as you can see, it's looking pretty clear on that side of town. We don't have any major incidents to talk about right now, which is great. If you are headed out and about, we'll have another check of your commute coming up in about 15 minutes. 5:02 now, and it is going to be a busy and historic day in the nation's capital.
The impeachment trial of President Donald Trump begins today. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will give each side a total of 24 hours to present their arguments in President Donald Trump's impeachment trial. McConnell's organizing resolution for the trial said the time must be confined to 2 working days. This also suggests that any evidence collected during the impeachment inquiry won't automatically be admitted. Instead, the Senate will need to vote at a later time if it wants to admit any documents. The rules do allow a vote on whether witnesses will be called to testify. Arguments in the trial are expected to begin tomorrow.
And coming up later on this morning on Sunrise, 17's Aton Wallace will explain everything you need to know about President Trump's defense team. He's also going to explain what exactly they're saying in defense of the president.
Meantime, it's your chance to weigh in this morning. We have begun an interactive feedback poll. We're going to start that here on air. We've already started it online, and 17's Taylor Schaub is handling that this morning.
Yeah, Maddie, here's the question for all of you. Do you believe the impeachment has been a fair process? That's the question, and as you can, well, that's the subject of this morning's 17 interactive poll. And as you can see, we are monitoring it this morning. And right now, well, there's an overwhelming majority that says no, 79% as of this time this morning. And we are asking you to call or text in right now. The number is 661-888-4617. Press 1 if you want to say yes, press 2 if you want to say no. You can also text, tweet, or email, or Facebook us your comments. We're going to have those later on in the show. Once again, our interactive feedback phone is 888-4617. We'll hear some of your comments later today, Maddie.
Yeah, we actually started this around midnight, so we have been collecting some votes online already on social media. So we're going to carry that through and see how it goes this morning.
Yes, we will.
All right, thanks so much, Taylor.
It's 5:04 now. Meantime, we want to hear, 17 Court Watch. Closing arguments are expected this morning in the Leslie Chance murder trial. The former elementary school principal is charged with the murder of her husband. The prosecution argues Chance showed little remorse after learning of her husband's death, but the defense disputes that characterization. The defense has also picked apart evidence presented by prosecutors, saying it doesn't prove Chance was caught on surveillance video the day of the murder. Leslie Chance faces the possibility of a life prison term if convicted. Our news cameras will be allowed inside the courtroom for closing arguments, and we'll have coverage during our newscasts on our website, kget.com, and on our Facebook and Twitter pages.
Homelessness is an issue we follow closely here at KGET, and tomorrow the Bakersfield City Council is set to vote on a location for a low-barrier homeless shelter. There are several locations for the proposed shelter. The first is on Brown Street. It costs about $6 million for the property. Another location is a $7 million site on a property now owned by cotton grower Calcott. Bakersfield City Council will also consider Wheel Park. Despite some council members previously objecting to that location, the city hosted community meetings where people could voice their opinions on the proposed locations. If you want to go to that meeting, it starts at 5:15 tomorrow night.
State Republican lawmakers are requesting an investigation into how California is spending money on homelessness. Governor Gavin Newsom wants to use more than $1 billion from the budget to help the homeless off the streets. Assemblyman Kevin Kiley is one of a handful of state lawmakers hoping to get a better understanding of how that money is being used.
We had a 16% rise in homelessness last year. Now, on top of all that, we've actually been increasing the amount of money that we spend on homelessness. So over the last couple years, we've added $2.7 billion, that's with a B, billion dollars in new funding to combat homelessness. And yet we've seen no positive results. The problems only continue to get worse.
The governor recently released $650 million in emergency aid. Some resources are already being used to set up trailers and tents temporarily. The Joint Legislative Audit Committee will consider and likely vote on the request on February 19th.
And just a reminder, organizers are still looking for people to help in this year's point-in-time homeless count in Kern County. The census survey is set for Friday. It'll start at 3:30 that morning. Volunteers will try to get the most accurate count yet on just how many people are living on the streets. Last year's count was bolstered by an influx of new volunteers and revealed a more than 100% increase in our homeless population. To learn more about how to sign up to volunteer, just visit our website, kget.com.
5:07 now. The Bakersfield Police Department's asking for feedback on its recent crackdown on street racing. The department will hold a face-to-face community forum to discuss the growing concerns over street racing and future plans to combat it. You can head to Independence High School today. It's happening from 6 to 7 p.m. And a heads up for drivers, traffic control on Real Road continues this week as the Centennial Corridor main line continues setting false work in the area. That means there's still one-way traffic control between Stockdale Highway and Elsia Drive today through Friday. Expect up to a 10-minute delay between 8:30 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Again, today is a historic day in our nation's history as we prepare to see the impeachment trial resume this morning in Washington. And all morning, you'll have a chance to weigh in with our 17 interactive feedback poll.
Yeah, head to our website or social media pages now to make your voice heard, and we'll share some of your comments coming up later this morning.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News with Maddie Jansen, Alex Fisher, and Kevin Charette with your Pinpoint Doppler forecast. This is 17 News at Sunrise.
Welcome back. It is 5:18, and we are just hours away from the impeachment trial of President Trump.
And now we're getting a better idea about how members from each side plan to argue their case. 17's A. Tom Wallace is joining us now with a preview, kind of breaking down the rules in the process.
Yeah, you know, it's we still don't know a lot about what's going to happen today, but there is some things that we actually do know, and I want to explain to our viewers what that is. So first, the trial is set to get underway at 10 a.m. our time. You may remember last week, all 100 senators were sworn in for their roles as members of the jury in this trial. So today, the first thing they'll do is vote on the rules for the trial, which include a timeline laying out how long the trial will last. And as for the arguments, Democrats say the president abused the power of his office by urging Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in a July 25th phone call to announce an investigation of political rival Joe Biden. Trump was withholding hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid to the country. He's accused of that. Now, Democrats also argue the Trump administration obstructed Congress every step of the way during the impeachment investigation, directing witnesses not to testify or turn over documents. Now, we also are getting a better idea of the defense President Trump's legal team is working on as the impeachment trial is set to begin. The White House released a 110-page legal brief outlining the president's defense. By the way, we have posted the brief on our website, kget.com. The trial memo argues that the articles of impeachment against the president are a brazenly political act by House Democrats that must be rejected. The memo sweepingly denounces the process, calling it unfair, rigged, and a dangerous perversion of the Constitution. It also calls on the Senate to swiftly and roundly condemn the entire impeachment process. Now, we should have video for that. It should be another video here. The president's 12-member council, including attorneys Jay Sekulow and Pat Cipollone, authored the document released through the White House press secretary. We also know several House members and House Republicans will be helping the president in the U.S. Senate impeachment trial, and the lawmakers will reportedly serve as outside advisors and surrogates for the president. Now, House members have already been meeting regularly with the president's lawyers to help them prepare for the floor arguments. So in our next half hour, we also will hear, speaking of House members, from House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, what he had to say about this. But just to give a little hint, he has called this a sham and an unfair process. So we look forward to hearing from him.
When we've heard him kind of say that throughout this whole entire process, right?
Indeed. That's what he said. Basically, from the beginning, he does not believe that the president has been treated fairly at all.
And really interesting this morning to hear the reaction, especially from the Democratic side, to those rules that Mitch McConnell laid out last night. So we're going to get a little bit more into what those are coming up later this morning as well.
Indeed. Looking forward.
All right. Thanks so much, Eitan.
And meantime, we want to hear from you. This morning, we're asking, do you believe that the president's impeachment has been a fair process?
That's right. 17's Taylor Schaub is monitoring our interactive feedback poll. We have people calling in, texting in, and going onto social media. Taylor, what is the reaction so far?
Guys, people have been coming in droves responding to our poll overnight. We posted about 12 last night. And as you know, this trial will be the talk of every dinner table, the talk of every water cooler. But the massive conversation on social media that's already taking place, well, that could make this impeachment trial like no other. So we decided to ask you whether do you believe the impeachment has been a fair process so far. And the results early on, well, they've been pretty overwhelming. 80% of you guys have said no, that you do not believe that it's been a fair process so far. And we've also asked for your guys' comments, and we're going to read a couple of them right here. Salvador Villa Gomez says that he believes, yes, actually, that he thinks that it has been a fair process. The president asked a foreign government to dig up dirt on a political opponent. I believe that's a big no. Democrats provided evidence now. If the president insists he's innocent, you should let the witnesses testify. We're, of course, gonna see if witnesses will be allowed to testify. Viewer Christy Donovan doesn't agree. She's with that 80% saying nope. If it would have been fair, it would have been a bipartisan supported vote. The vote was on party lines. This is not fair. How far Democrats have come since the Clinton impeachment, the last impeachment we've had. If you want to weigh in, call or text us at 661-888-4617. You can also text, tweet, email, or Facebook us your guys' comments. We are hoping to get as many as we can and share them here at 17 News on Sunrise. Guys, back to you.
Thanks so much, Taylor. Still ahead, tax season right around the corner.
Yeah, and the dates and deadlines you should be aware of as you prepare this season.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. Tax filing season kicks off next week. The IRS will begin accepting 2019 returns on Monday. No major changes this year. The standard deduction has increased up to $12,200 for singles and $24,400 for a married couple filing jointly. The higher amounts will make it less likely for taxpayers to itemize deductions. The penalty for not carrying personal health insurance has been dropped, and taxpayers 65 and older who do not itemize have the option of using a new return with larger print and fewer line items. To help celebrate every occasion, the U.S. Postal Service is giving us a sneak preview of the new Celebrate Forever stamp. The stamp will be available next month and is perfect for birthdays, a new job, or even retirement. It will officially unveil at the Airpex, or the Stamp Show in Mesa, Arizona on February 14th. You can order the stamps at the postal store online or at any post office. Looking for something to eat as you're watching the big game in a few weeks? Food delivery service Blue Apron is putting together a game day party eats box, and it is on sale and includes a party playbook with chef tips on how to prepare and sequence the 5 dishes. The menu serves 6 to 8 and includes deviled eggs, shrimp, lettuce, cups, and barbecue chicken sandwiches. But you better hurry. It is on sale now through January 22nd for delivery by the 31st.